if you wanted to not just have a simple animation that goes from our initial state here at the left to the equilibrium state, which is over here, but you wanted something to happen along the way, we can essentially add keyframes within our animation in Kangaroo so that we have something occurring, then we specify that something should change. This modifies the kind of arc of getting towards equilibrium. So a new pressure has been added or a state has changed, and then it goes back towards trying to solve for equilibrium. So for going further, right, let's take a quick peek at the file that we've prepared for this, prepared for you for looking at how you might set up triggers. Right? In this case, it's very similar to the last file we just did. Right? And it's going to find a set of anchor points. Right? And instead of just using those anchor points, what we're going to do is create what we've called some handles. So these are going to be animation handles. They have to come from each one of these anchor points. They can be of varying lengths. I'm generally just having them move away from the object. So these handles will go into here. And whereas we were asking for all the frames at the beginning and then sorting through them afterwards, in this example, we actually have to ask Kangaroo to solve incrementally based on this slider, right? So this is actually what's controlling when it should solve, right? So what's happening here is if we have a starting condition, I'll say let's make this a little bit longer, 240 frames. That's the entire length of the animation. But whenever we get to a certain trigger frame, we'll say halfway through, right? The anchor positions are going to change. So if it's calculating, it's calculating. We get to about halfway. Now the anchor points are moving. So we've triggered an event that's going to change the simulation. And we almost get to the end. So what we need here is some more sub-iterations. 15. Set this to 0. Scrub back through, see how we do. All right, so it seems like we need even more frames to get to the end goal here. All right, so generally it's going to try and solve, trigger an event, solve some more until it gets to the equilibrium state. It's getting pretty close there. Now, the pace at which you move through this slider is actually how many times you're calculating, right? So if you wanted 300 frames, if we animated this slider in the same way we did before, I'll make a new folder, CF2. I'll say 300 frames. It's actually solving each time that the slider moves. So if I move manually through it faster, it's not going to reach an equilibrium state very fast because I'm not actually using all the frames. But if I animate it, because it's doing it incrementally, it does. So you can see it's reached equilibrium, or almost did, and then we're moving the anchor points after the trigger. So we can start to kind of keyframe different things that are going to happen within our simulation over a certain number of frames. All right, so again, we're going to have those same, like another collection of frames, which if we were to preview what that would look like, it would look like this. There's our trigger, something starts to move, our anchor points move, and that changes what happens with the overall simulation. All right, so this file is a part of the files we gave you. So if you want to go further, go ahead and investigate how we've set this up here.